What's going on? The time is finally now. It's the 49ers. It's the Giants. It's Thursday night football. I got my man Monte here. He is ready to talk Giants football. We're going to have some fun. We're going to preview the game. We got an hour to get it done. Stick around right here on the Wayne Breezie Show. Let's go, everybody.
We so bright that we shining. All we know is the Niners. Red and gold at its finest. We so faithful to the bay. We so bright that we shining. All we know is the Niners. Red and gold at its finest. We so faithful to the bay. Yeah.
Red and gold, red and gold, red and gold. What's going on, everybody? I got my brother here, man. What's going on, man? How you doing? Thank you for joining.
How we doing? Thank you for having me, man. Looking forward to the game night. Look forward to talking to you.
It's gonna be fun. Look, a lot of 49er fans feel this game is gonna be somewhat like of a blowout, and I'm trying to temper the expectations. I always like to give the faithful the realness, like a little history behind the two teams. It's 22-22.
Yep.
It's pretty much even on the scoring. I think the Niners got a slight edge in scoring, but they're different teams, right? They're different teams. Listen, let everybody know who you are. Where you from? I just found out you were from Connecticut, and that's funny because I'm from Connecticut. So when I saw your tweet, I'm like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, this is crazy. We've never met.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I saw that when I was looking at your Twitter profile. But yeah, no, I'm based out of Connecticut. Monte, you can find me on Twitter at Monte Cristo. It's with the 5 instead of the S. But and then I do a couple of Giants podcasts. I just started one recently called He's a Giant with my buddy Sal, and we basically is an NFL draft centric Giants podcast. So if the NFL draft interests any of you Niners fans out there, I have all the timestamps in there, so you can always skip past the Giants stuff, and we do a lot of NFL draft talk and doing the previews. And then I do a live show every Thursday called Big Blue Beers, a couple of my buddies, and we just chat and talk Giants kind of live with some friends on here. So yeah,
That's what's up. So tell us more about the Giants. Like, how are you feeling so far about the season? Your team is 1-1. You had the loss, the first loss, 40-0, and then
Yep.
you guys came back down. Which you were down 27-0, and you guys came back and won. Like that
Yep.
had to be phenomenal. You ended up losing Saquon Barkley in the process, which was weird to me, bro, because the dude must have got injured in the last minute of the game because he played like predominantly the whole game. So how are you feeling so far about the season?
It's been weird, man. It's been a weird season, very Jekyll and Hyde type thing. I mean, I'm sure you guys all saw the first game, given it was on prime time, and it was an embarrassing game for Giants fans. We came in with a lot of expectations on the season. I know not like quite level of you guys, not quite Super Bowl expectations, but we came in with a lot of hopes that this could be a big step for us. And really, one of the worst losses I can remember as like a Giants fan, given the expectations we had coming into it. It felt like they wanted to really get something going, so they just did nothing to stop the bleeding. They just kept trying to score, didn't run out the clock, and it just got out of hand. And then the second game versus Arizona Cardinals, we really, kind of expected that to be a bounce back game for us. We wanted, a lot of Giants fans saying we got to win this by double digits. Cardinals aren't a good team. And then we came out again and things didn't look good. And a lot of Giants fans were like, with the schedule coming up, facing you guys, and we facing the Dolphins, we're facing the Seahawks, we're facing the Bills, a lot of tough games coming up. We're like, look, if we lose to the Cardinals here, this season could go away quickly. And then they had, one of the better comebacks that we've had in franchise history. And we were down 20-0 at the half, and we scored 31 points in the second half. And
That was crazy.
it looked totally different. The offense went from not scoring a single point for 6 quarters to scoring 31 points in 1.5. So I don't know what to make of this team, man. It's been a weird season.
What do you think you did What did the Giants do to like readjust? They had to figure something out. Did they switch the run scheme? Because what I watched, I didn't watch the all 22, but when I rewatched the game, you know, I mean, like the intermediate throws, the deep throws were there. Like I felt like Daniel was literally trying to dime up the Arizona Cardinals, literally like quick throws, get the ball out of his hand quick. And then you had Saquon Barkley, who just was a monster that game, right? Like put the team on his back, said, "Give me the rock. I'm gonna catch out of the backfield, get into the end zone. I'm gonna rush, get into the end zone. Like he's your Christian McCaffrey. Like, and when it came down to like paying him, I was one of those guys that was the advocate. I was like, the Giants would be silly, and I know you only worked out a 1 year deal, but the Giants would be silly not to pay that weapon because that's what he is, right? He's a mismatch nightmare. But unfortunately, he has an ankle sprain, not a high ankle sprain, but an ankle sprain. So,
Yeah.
like, what did you guys do to adjust, like, to be able to come back? Like, it was definitely something you did, opposed to what the Arizona Cardinals couldn't stop.
Yeah, so I think it was a few things. So one thing is that we did is I think we really got Daniel Jones moving again. He had, I think, negative rushing yards in the first half, and he went on and had like 70 something. And I think when Daniel Jones is at his best is when he's using his legs, and that's really what makes him the quarterback he is. That's his advantage, and he has to be using that to really find success. So we ran a lot of play action in the second half and we got Daniel Jones moving and that kind of made the defense more honest. And there was another part of it is we got Jalen Hyatt more involved, who really hadn't been involved too much in that season. That was a
The
rookie
rookie, y'all, the rookie.
out of Tennessee. Definitely one of the quickest players I've honestly seen in the NFL. He has so much speed and he looks so effortless doing it. And there was one play we ran earlier in the first half, and it was this deep over by Darren Waller and Jalen Hyatt essentially running this skinny post. And essentially,
Hmm.
Darren Waller was open on it again, and someone must have said to, and Tiki Barber was talking about this, Talking Giants were talking about this, and somebody must have said to him, like, hey, I know Darren Waller's going to be open, but hit Hyatt on this. And Hyatt was, I guess, was even saying, is like, just throw it up to me, you got it. And instead of throwing that over, he hit him on like a 60-yard bomb or something like that. And you could tell for the rest of the game, it changed everything about how they had to cover us. They had to be honest with the deep game, and it's just something that we didn't have. And I'll say the last thing, because this one's a little bit more of a conspiracy theory and there's no confirmed to this, is a lot of people think Brian Dable took over play calling in the second half. If you look back at the game versus the Cowboys, that man did not have a play sheet in his hand the entire.
Interesting.
And then during the second half, you saw him time after time with a play sheet in his hand, covering his mouth and looking like he's calling plays. One of our a guy from Giants Twitter over here, Justin Pennick, he's part of Talking Giants with John Boy Media. He did a full video breakdown of it, comparing, and it really does seem like that was something did. He denied those rumors, but at the same time, I remember this time last year, week 1 versus the Titans, he was on the sideline scraping Daniel Jones' face, and the media asked him about it. It's like, were you yelling at Daniel Jones? He's like, oh no, I was yelling at my coaches in the headset. His headset wasn't even on him. So I mean, guy's a liar. He's trying not to get the media involved and tries and wants to protect his team and his coaches. So I understand it, but he definitely will lie to protect them.
Man, listen, I know Barkley is out. I feel like he's the nucleus to your offense. But you guys were still you guys will still be able to move the ball, especially with the quarterback like Daniel Jones. I like to call him Danny Dimes. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you're
Especially with
good.
the quarter, and a lot of people want to know like how will the 49ers figure out a way to contain him? I mean, Ronnie's like, yo, how do we contain this dude? It's funny because in 2020 when we played. Again, he was dangerous, but he was more dangerous rushing. Like he was more dangerous rushing. And like you said, when you got him moving, that's when he was able to throw. He actually threw accurately on the move last week against the
Yeah.
Arizona Cardinals. So that kind of confused me because I'm not used to him being accurate, but I think that's where he's more comfortable. So for the Niners, the difference is with the defenses, I feel like the edges are going to be able to contain. I think that you got different edges. You got Nick Bosa, you got Drake Jackson, you got these edge rushers that are good at containing the lanes. Not the best, but they're good at containing. And now the interior is where I don't see Danny stepping up in the pocket and being able to get through that line. Now, if it's a design run,
Yeah.
that's different. But I'm talking about like if a play breakdown, he tries to get to the outside. Our linebackers are a lot faster than Arizona Cardinal linebackers, so it might be a little different. But I feel like he's probably one of the best athletes in the NFL, and you like Daniel Jones can move, and that's the only thing. And I'm not trying to throw stabs at your team, but he's the key to stop, because if you can get him not to run, force him to throw the ball, take away that deep playability, that's another one of his skill sets, and make him be accurate, I think then we'll have that number over Daniel Dimes. So how are you guys going to counter that? Because that's what the Niners are going to look to do. I know you watch Matthew Stafford dice up this
Yep.
defense. Does Daniel Dimes have that quick throw ability?
He hasn't shown it too much so far in his career. It's definitely, if you look at his time to throw stats, they're definitely middle to high in the NFL. So it's a struggle for him. And even worse on this is, we've been talking a lot about Saquon Barkley, and that's a big loss for us, 100%. The bigger loss, in my opinion, is we don't have
Andrew
Andrew
Thomas.
Thomas, all-pro left tackle, and that's a guy who at least, we could hope that Nick Bosa's on him because he's the only guy who could have a chance of slowing that guy down, really. And then on top of that, we had Ben Bredesen, who is,
Your
not
guard.
not a great guard by any means, but he is like a solid NFL guard. And Mark Lewinsky, who didn't even look like an NFL player versus the Dallas Cowboys. He's going to be starting at left guard this week, most likely. So that's definitely a worry with our offensive line. I'll say, look, it's going to come down to Daniel Jones a lot. I mean, so a couple things with this. One, the way with it's going to be harder for us to get Daniel Jones these runs first. You guys, on top of you guys just being a good defense, I think another part of that was with Saquon Barkley is a lot of people respected Saquon Barkley as a running back so much. Sometimes Daniel Jones, I feel, is not appreciated to his level of athleticism, what he is a runner. And you can see a defense totally sell out on stopping
Mm-hmm.
Saquon Barkley. And you'll see
Mm-hmm.
the other side totally wide open. He
I
runs out
agree.
on a bootleg and he's gone. He doesn't get the respect. But
I agree.
but this week, I mean, he is the guy I think that's going to get the respect by the 49ers defense. And I think his confidence builds up when he is on the move. And it's going to be there's a lot of ways you guys can stop us, but I think that would be the number one thing is shutting down him. And, I know you guys kind of stop the deep game. You kind of let people throw it in front of you. And I think that's
Yeah.
what we'll have to try to just kind of get the ball out. And we have some guys who could do it. Isaiah Hodgins is pretty good at, working in small spaces. We think we're going to have Wan'Dale Robinson back this week. He was a former running back, so he might be able to help get it short and work after the catch. We have a lot of speed. We added a lot of speed to this. Darren Waller, very, very good football player. He's definitely going to be a go-to weapon, but ultimately, we're also going to have to make explosive plays on you guys to win this. It's the only, you guys are a good team at stopping that, and it's going to be hard to, but hopefully if Daniel Jones can get on the move, that can open up shots for that. But if we can't get him on the move and we can't take shots downfield, it's going to be a long day for the Giants.
Interesting to know from you your take on Darren Waller. I think he's a dynamic tight end when he's healthy in the league. He's definitely an offensive threat. How do you feel about him and his blocking scheme? Because if you don't have your left tackle, which tight ends are you going to be? Which type of personnel are we going to see out there? Because if you leave Bosa 1-on-1, I know he has 0 sacks, but he's been tuning up. This will be his third game with him getting his legs under him. If you leave him 1-on-1, that's no good. That's no good.
Yeah, so look out for a lot of 12-man personnel by
There
the
it is,
Giants.
y'all.
Yeah, because Darren Waller he's a willing blocker. He's a strong guy. He's
Very much so. Very much
yeah,
so.
he gets a lot of. I forgot somebody from Tight End U saying like he was the strongest guy there. He's not a great blocker, but he's a strong guy. He's a willing blocker. But the guy to watch out for as a blocker is Daniel Bellinger. Daniel Bellinger was our starting tight end last year. It is his strength. He was a very good blocker in college. He put on extra weight even this offseason. He's a very good blocking tight end, and he's not a most dynamic athlete, but he's also very good hands. He didn't have a single drop in his college career. He's very, very strong hand guy. So we'll work him. He's very reliable as a tight end too, and we'll keep him on the offense. He even lines up as a fullback here and there, and he'll help block there. But I agree, we have to make sure that we have Daniel Bellinger helping out, especially whatever side Nick Bosa's on.
So my number one thing for us is to force Daniel Jones to be accurate.
Mhm.
That's what I think the Niners need to do. They need to keep him in the pocket, like
Yep.
force him to be accurate and make him get rid of the ball quick. And I think the Niners are going to try to figure that out at some point in this game. What is your number one takeaway from the 49ers offense when Brock Purdy leads his troops out there on the field? Like, what do you feel like you guys got to take away from the Niners?
Yeah, I mean, a lot has to go right to stop this 49ers offense, but I would say one thing you looked at last week is we let the Arizona Cardinals shred up our run game, and I
James
mean that
Conner.
everything starts with the 49ers and their run game. Everything you guys do starts with the run game. So we need to really step up and I wouldn't say stop your run, but definitely, put up a better effort and we did versus Arizona and try to slow it down. I mean, the Giants did like their run defense was really bad last year, and they did a lot this offseason to make it better. They went and they got Bobby Okereke, who
Mhm.
is, a very good linebacker. We had no good linebackers last year. We went and got Ashawn Robinson,
Mhm.
good defensive tackle. We went and got uh Nacho Nunez Roches from Tampa Bay. He actually is I think he was seventh last week in run stop win rate. So, we definitely have guys who can stop the run on top of, the big names like Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams. The unfortunate thing is Leonard Williams, who is one of the highest paid players in the NFL this year, he hasn't been showing up. So
Right.
he needs to show up. And really where we need to start is we need to slow down your run offense. And I think on top of that, Wink Martindale, our defense coordinator, needs to get back to bring blitzes and bring pressure. We need to get Brock Purdy on the move, and we can't let him be comfortable back there because if we let him be comfortable, he's going to dice us up all day with play action and letting guys run. So those are the two
90% completion
keys.
percentage in play action. Brock Purdy. God
Yep,
dang.
he is. If we let you guys run the ball and we let Brock Purdy be comfortable back there, we won't be able to stop you guys. Those are
So
the two things.
when I watch this game, I'm gonna expect what 7, 8 in the box, like because like how else are you stopping the run? You want to force Brock to throw the ball. You want Brock to make the plays and sell out and take out the run, right?
Yep, and yeah, I think you'll see 7, 8 in the box, and I think the one thing that's interesting with Wink Martindale is he has a lot of exotic blitzes, so you'll see these guys in the box,
Ah,
then you'll see some guys
drop
bail out
back.
into coverage,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Hmm.
we haven't been doing that quite as much this year. I think so. One thing consider and look at is right now the Giants' two outside corners are rookie cornerbacks. Deontay Banks out of
Maryland,
Maryland. Yep.
fast kid.
Yep. Real fast, real strong. And then we have Trey Hawkins out of Old Dominion, who's actually a
Oh,
6th-round pick.
mhm.
And he's been really good. He's for a 6th-round rookie, he's been impressive. And so has Deontay Banks. But the thing is, they've definitely been playing a lot of zone, which they want to play press man and be taking these kids on slowly so they don't get exposed. But I think in this game, you have nothing to lose. I think you got to let those kids play, prove that they can do it, and you gotta run your defense. If the 49ers take advantage of that, they take advantage of that, but you're not going to win this game by taking a cautious approach on defense.
So no conservative bull crap
Yep.
from the Giants on defense, because if not, it can cause a problem.
Yep. I
I,
think you gotta let Brock Purdy beat you with his arm.
And that's what teams did last year with Jimmy Garoppolo. They were like, you know what, we're gonna sell out, we're gonna take away the run. I mean, when Christian McCaffrey came, it changed things. It was more Brock Purdy at that time. It just changed up things for Kyle Shanahan and the way he calls his offense. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I don't see how you guys are ranked 26th in run defense as of right now. It's only been two
Yep.
games. You guys aren't really stopping the run as good. Is this the week against possibly the number one running back in the league right now? Is this the week that y'all sell out and just be like, hey, We plugging them holes. It's gonna be 8 of y'all up here. If Brock can beat y'all four, y'all deep, cool. Y'all three, cool. Like cool. If he could beat it, cool. If not, we taking away Christian McCaffrey. But I think what the Niners will do to counter that is now you could input Debo Samuel. And so,
Yep.
like, now you can have him in the backfield. You can split Christian McCaffrey out wide. You're thinking we're going to run, we throw, or you're thinking we're going to throw, we run. So I think that's how we kind of negate that. Let's talk about these injuries because you did talk about uh, Bredesen being out. You talked about Andrew Thomas. Azeez Ojulari is not playing in this game. And if I'm not mistaken, am I right?
No, you're correct. Yeah, Aziz
Damn. And, and,
Ojulari is out.
and that's your to me, like I love Kayvon Thibodeau, but
Mhm.
without Ojulari there, like your pass rush seems very insignificant. Like you had 0 sacks last week as a
Yep.
team. And so like are you concerned that there won't be pressure being able to be applied to the 49ers offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried in general. I think if Azeez Ojulari was playing, I'd still be worried because there's 0
Really?
sacks through 2 games right now. I mean, in Azeez wasn't playing last week, but yeah, man, I mean, I would love to have Azeez. He's definitely an important piece of this offense, and an even bigger part is we really don't have the depth behind him. Like, I mean,
Ah.
you got Carlos Basham, who we just traded for from Buffalo, but he's more of a run stopper. We have Hottie, who's more of a run stopper. Maybe you could deploy a guy like Isaiah Simmons and kind of put him on the edge a little bit. He does that stuff.
Hold on, let me just I don't mean to interrupt, but
No, go for it.
I want you to put Isaiah Simmons in this game. I know you know that we know who
Yeah,
Isaiah
yeah, yeah,
Simmons
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yeah, so please put
yeah.
Isaiah Simmons in this game. He's your depth. I know he's not starting. He'll be a depth piece wherever you put him at, safety, outside. I don't care. And now, great, tremendous talent, tremendous speed. I don't think Arizona utilized him right. He may
Yeah.
still be learning your scheme over there in New York. But please put him in this game because
He,
I want George Kittle. I need him to feast.
I was about to say, keep him away from George Kittle.
No.
We've seen that. Um, but yeah. So anyway, the only other thing I'll say is that this Wink Martindale has kind of always said, he's like, give me the defensive backs, the guys who can cover, and I'll figure out the pressure because he's a blitz guy. So, and funny enough, I have not seen this with my own eyes. I think the Giants' pressure has been poor. But if you do look at the advanced stats, they're actually 5th in pass rush run rate right now. So
Crazy.
as a team with no sacks though.
That's
So
great. The pressures are there.
yeah, so that tells me it's coming, but I personally haven't really seen it. Like,
So I did a whole episode about pressures and so first of all, let's talk about what pressures are. And a lot of people might be new to football. They might not understand what pressures are. Pressures are consisted of a few things, right? Sacks is just one of them. Sacks are the icing on the cake, right? Like that's what you want. You want the yards for loss. You get the sacks, but pressures, the hurries, the hits, like those things, those are the three things that make up the pressure. Those can cause quarterbacks to make mistakes. And
yep.
so if you guys are getting pressure, that's a problem. If you guys are 5th, I wonder, can you find out if the Niners are ranked top? Because we get pressures. We've had a total of 56 pressures in the first 2 games. Getting the sacks is another thing, but the pressures, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll look into it for you, and see if I can find it. But yeah, man, it should be interesting with it where the one thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, the 49ers offensive line hasn't been that great. I know Trent Williams is the best left tackle in football, but how you feel about left guard through right tackle?
It's a great question. Our left guard, Aaron Banks, hasn't given up a single pressure all. And I know, and it's crazy how we say all season. It's only been 2 games, but out of all the snaps that he's played, not one single pressure. So the left side, I would say center to the left side is pretty strong. That's the anchor, and then you get to the
Yeah.
right side. I thought week 1, even though we beat the snot out of the Steelers, they were bad on the right side. But then week 2, where we barely beat the Rams, they were better. They were a lot better. They didn't give up any well, they gave up 1 sack when Purdy tried to scramble and they counted it as a sack. But as far as Purdy getting sacked, he really wasn't sacked behind the line of scrimmage on anything. They gave up a few pressures, but I think the offensive line, and you know this, offensive lines take a little time to gel to gain continuity. We do have a new piece there, and then we have the second year player who started. He didn't. He started as a rookie in Spencer Burford, but then once Daniel Brunskill came back, they kept rotating him out. And so
Mhm.
I think that kind of hindered his development just a little bit. And now he's the full starter. So
Yeah.
he's kind of essentially still new. So yeah, the right side is the issue. And so that's where your defense is going to want to try to take advantage of, overload that right side and figure out a way to get to Brock Purdy.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely get everything you're saying there. I mean, it was driving Giants fans nuts that we were rotating our guards all preseason. We're like, let these guys get some continuity
You
together,
had to
and then,
figure it out, man. You
and-
have to, yeah, but
yeah,
you're right. Like continuity is key, especially for the offensive line. I think one thing, the center for the 49ers, Jake Brendo, he said something that was super important. And I'm not sure if, and you can apply this to any offensive line, but offensive linemen want to communicate without talking.
yep,
Because when you talk, you can give certain things up. I want to know if you and I were on the offensive line, I want to know what your split is, where you're going, your assignment, mine. It's got to be cohesive. That's the offensive line. When that gels, woof, it doesn't matter if they're all pros or all rookies. Like if they're gelling, they're gelling. So,
exactly. Yeah, and
yeah.
that's something I think a lot of Giants fans look back to, where we had during those Super Bowl runs, we had basically the same offensive line through both those Super Bowls, and those guys were best friends and gelled, and it helped a lot. But by the way, I did look it up for you, and San Francisco 49ers are 12th in pass rush win rate right now, according
Wow.
to ESPN analytics.
Wow. All right. So we're 12th. You guys are 5th. This is gonna be I'm trying to warn everybody that this game may be close for a while. Like
Yeah.
it may be close for a while. And it's gonna take a mistake or something like that to happen for it to kind of like spread open. It's a Thursday night. It's a short week for both teams. How lucky are you and New York Football Giants to not have to travel far for this game?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was something that our owner was really pushing for, because we had so many West Coast games this year. He's like, give us one like back to back, so we don't have to go all the way back and then come back. So yeah, I think it's a good situation that they're only going, Sunday to Thursday, and then they can go back to the East Coast, and then they get Seattle has to come all the way from the West Coast. But
Yeah, to you guys, yeah.
yeah, and that's the one thing I would say about this game. I mean, we can talk all day about like how they could possibly win, but the Giants, I mean, end of the day, don't really have the horses to run with the 49ers, but anything can happen in
Right.
football. And
Yeah.
if you look, I was actually looking this up, and I was only able to go like the last 14 games with StatMuse, but the favorite in Thursday Night Football, the last 14 games are 6-8. So pretty close for,
I didn't want to know that stat.
yeah.
I did not want to know that stat. Damn. All right.
It's you've seen some weird shit on Thursday Night Football.
Thursday night football is so unpredictable. And do you play fantasy football?
I do, I do.
I
I'm in
usually
like 6
bench
leagues.
every starter that's on Thursday. I don't care who it is. Patrick Mahomes, you're not starting in my league on Thursday night.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
something
yeah.
about Thursday night that's just, it's a weird synergy. It's a weird vibe. And you're gonna get what you're gonna get. So
Get a lot of low scoring games on Thursday.
super low scoring games. Brandon Ayuk is expected to not play.
Yep, saw
Um,
that.
so you guys will get a kind of like a one up. We'll have a couple of receivers that's going to have to try to come and spell. Brandon Ayuk, they called up Chris Conley from the practice squad. He kind of stood out throughout the preseason for the 49ers and ended up making to the practice squad. And so he'll be called up. I think Ambry Thomas is questionable, but probably will be out. That's one of our young DBs. So for those that are watching that are faithful, we might not have those two guys out there playing. So tell us, I just want to know more like what to look forward to from your New York Football Giants, and give me like highlight a matchup that you want to see. Like if you can get the 49ers into a certain matchup, like what would that be?
It's a good question. Shoot. Let me think. So I I think a situation that I would love to see them get into is any chance where we get Jalen Hyatt on a free release with just one-on-one with a guy without a like a safety over the top or something.
Say less.
When you
I
get
got
that
you.
guy on a free release, I there's literally almost no one in the NFL who can keep up with him. I know he ran a 4.40, but it does not look like that in the field. He's so effortless when he runs. I've seen through preseason and even last week, this guy just absolutely burns people. There was a one against the Panthers in preseason where it was just one misstep and it would look just like when he was in Tennessee. It was just like a 20-yard difference between this and the defender just off of one misstep by the defender. So I think get a free release and get him one-on-one with a safety or something like that. I think that would be
Where are you lining him up? Are you splitting him out? Are you trying to get him into the slot to have to run a route to try to get open? Like, how good is his route running as a rookie? Is he just really right now a burner? What I watched last week was he was able to find a way to get open in the zone, and Daniel Jones had the time. He got the ball there. I mean, they were beautiful passes, right?
yeah,
And he led y'all in receiving yards last week. So
did.
he's a big play guy. I'm hoping the Niners I hope they don't decide to like give up these big plays. They usually don't give up the big plays. Man to man, if I had to put somebody on him, you said you want to get him on a safety. What are you bringing out? Four receivers? Like what do you do you guys go four wideouts? Have you done that?
Sometimes.
Shit.
But we
I don't
probably won't do it a lot versus you guys. We're probably going to run a lot of 12 personnel.
Yeah, so that's two tight ends and that's one running back. Matt Breida, we got to talk about him, but we'll put that on pause because I'm a former 49er. Want to know your thoughts on him and how you're going to spell him. He's definitely a burner as far as speed. He has the speed if he can get to the hole.
Yeah.
Do you guys run more of power scheme or do
Yeah,
you
more like
have this?
power gap.
Yeah, so I'm curious, does he fit that? Or do you want to stretch it out and get him to the outside?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's enough of a veteran running back at this point that he can run that. I think we have a diverse scheme. I think you see a little bit of the influences that Mike Kafka brought over from Kansas City, and I think you can see him running to the outside at times. We also will have a guy like Eric Gray, who's a rookie at Oklahoma.
I like Eric Gray.
I don't know how much he'll be on the field because he struggles a lot in pass protection, and that's a tough to get out on the field when you struggle as much as he does there. But I think they're going to want to see what they have in him as a runner. And then Gary Brightwell's been on the team for a few years. He's not a very good player, but he's got some speed. He's solid. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely no Saquon Barkley behind these guys. Safe to say. But yeah, man, it should be interesting. As far as to answer your question about Jalen Hyatt and where he's at this point in his career, I definitely think he's a guy that you really have to scheme free releases for, that you want to see in the slot mostly. I think he will ultimately develop and become an outside wide receiver. I think he has that type of athleticism and height, and I think he can be a route runner. But today, I think you are really trying to scheme him open still. And when you can, he changes how defenses have to play you. But you really can't just ask him to go out there and win yet. Unfortunately, I'd love that he was there. Maybe you can get there by the end of the season, but I don't think he's there yet.
So Hyatt in the slot. All
Yep.
right. So I know 49er fans are going to wonder how this would pan out. So our nickel guy is Isaiah Oliver. Now the Niners might look to do things a little bit different depending on the health, I believe, of Ambry Thomas. If Ambry Thomas is healthy and he does play, then the Niners, if you guys come out with three wideouts, I think the first set you'll see is Ambry Ward on the outsides. That's what they've been doing for
Mhm.
the first 2 weeks, and then they put Diamador Lenore on the inside. I would love to see that matchup. Former Oregon against former Tennessee. I just want
Yeah.
to see it. Like, but that if that's not the go, Isaiah Oliver looked like he was finally upgraded to the nickel back, bigger nickel. In my opinion, on a I think Hyatt's kind of big wide receiver. Look,
Tall,
yeah, that's what I mean.
long.
As far as he
Yeah.
doesn't have
Yeah.
the stockiness yet, but
Yeah.
he's a tall guy. That might
Mhm.
be a good matchup. That might be something to watch, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't think about that. Shout out to Monte for that one. Hyatt, and if he's lined up in that nickel slot, I want to see now deep threats. Wandale Robinson with the speed. Who is the big playmaker for Daniel Jones that the 49ers might need to sit there and pay attention to?
I think the answer that you have to say is Darren Waller. I mean, Darren Waller he's been a guy who was like uncoverable throughout all of preseason. He's one of those guys where it's like he was absolutely torching our defense, and he's funny fact right here is we all know Darren Waller has been hurt a lot, and last year I think he only played 9 games.
Correct.
Despite only playing 9 games, he had the most explosive plays out of all tight ends in the NFL
He's a
last year.
problem, bro.
So he is a ridiculous athlete, and when he's healthy, he can be a matchup nightmare for just about anybody. And I know you guys have, like Fred Warner, who's probably I'm not even say probably is the best coverage linebacker in the NFL, and I'm sure he would do as well as any linebacker covering Darren Waller. But Darren Waller is a very good player, and he will work underneath. And I also think he can be an explosive player for you. I'd say another guy outside of the ones that we've talked about to keep an eye on is Darius Slayton.
There
Darius
it is.
Slayton, he's
I was
been
waiting
on
for
this.
that name.
Yep, he's been on this team for this is his 5th year now. So we just re-signed him, and he's been a go-to weapon for Daniel Jones since he came in. There was only 1 year since he's not been on this team. He wasn't the leading receiver, and he had a really good week last year. Last week his hands look great. He was tracking the ball well. Some things that we've seen him struggle with in the past, he really seems like he's taking a next step now that the coaching is fully committed to this guy, because he's a guy who was inactive week 1 and week 2 last year, but they finally committed to him, and he seems to be a big part of his offense. We have a lot of speed. That was the one thing that this team wanted. We didn't have enough speed last year. So this coaching staff, our front office, they committed to adding speed. So between Slayton, Paris Campbell, Darren Waller, Jalen Hyatt, there's a lot of speed in this receiving core. Up Wandale Robinson. So we'll
And
see if they
playmakers,
can.
big playmakers too. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
gotta figure out how to use them.
You got it. Yeah. I look. I don't know if you play Madden, but every
Yep.
week I do the Madden simulation challenge, and it's a nice 2.5 hour stream. We
Yeah.
sit here, and people, the community and we hope that Madden allows the 49ers to be the 49ers, but for some reason, your Giants defeated my 49ers,
Like to
bro.
hear it.
Listen, first of all, went to overtime. That pissed me off. Second of all, what happened in overtime had to be the funniest stuff I've seen in my life, right? So you guys, I think we kicked a field goal, and then you guys had the opportunity. So you kicked a field goal, right, to
Okay.
tie it. But
Yeah.
our dumbass Isaiah Oliver rushed the kicker, bro. Like ran into the kicker. They
Oh no.
called. I ain't finished. They called roughing the kicker, bro. Your team declined it. You gotta watch the last 10 minutes. Your team declined it, right? Then we got the ball back. I'm like, oh, the Giants got to be the dumbest team in the game. You know why they declined it? Because they knew we were going to give the ball to Christian McCaffrey. You know what Christian McCaffrey did? He fumbled the ball. The Giants won by a field goal in overtime, bro.
Dable playing chess.
All we had to do, but we had to score again. So they gave it to Christian McCaffrey, caught the ball, tried to do a 360 spin, ball pops out, Giants get the ball, you run one play, and boom, 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 you guys win. Now, I did keep your starters in. I tried to keep it, I had to do this one
Yeah.
early because we're playing on a Thursday night, but I tried to keep it true, and Barkley wasn't ruled out yet. Like, Thomas wasn't ruled out yet. So I kept everybody in. Ayuk played. He ain't playing tonight. So it was fair. I was
Yeah.
pissed. Yep.
Yeah.
Almost broke my phone. But I brought that up because I want to go over some things. I want to talk about, who's going to be your leading rusher. Because I think that's a fair question, right? Because no Barkley, will it be Daniel Jones? Will it be Matt Breida? Will it be the other running backs you talked about? Who's going to be your leading receiver? Would it be Darren Waller? Would it be one of your receivers? So let's have some fun with this, man. Like, who's going to lead your team in rushing?
Daniel Jones. I think it will be Daniel Jones. I think with Saquon Barkley out, that's what they got to do. They gotta lean on Daniel Jones' legs, and it's gotta come from our coaching. We got to scheme it open, but he's the best rusher on this team that we have available right now, and that's something they need to rely on. I think he'll be our leading rusher.
You know who Daniel Jones reminds me of? Josh
But
Allen.
Josh Allen, yeah, I mean, a lot of those comps came when Dable came over. People calling him Baby Allen and stuff like that. I wouldn't quite go that far, but I definitely see the comps. He's like first evolution.
Yeah, like I don't want to say
Right.
he's the poor man's Josh Allen, but like he's willing to run. He's very
Yep.
athletic. He knows how to protect himself, and he has a big arm. And so
Yep.
like now he has to work on not turning the ball over, not doing those things. And so once he gets that, I mean, and even Josh Allen, in my opinion, is kind of like I don't want to say regressing, but he took a little step back. Like he looks a little different this year for some reason.
Mrs.
Um,
Dable.
yeah. Wealthy
Hey,
Don, Giants for the win. You got some Giants fans in here. I like that. What's going
there we
on?
go.
All right. I don't know. All right. So look, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure there's only 2% people picking the Giants to win. So it's 116 votes, and 98% is saying that the 49ers. This is a 49ers channel, so I'm expecting that. But I was hoping
Yeah.
some of the Giants people, being from Connecticut, I know a lot of people over here, they're either Giants, Jets, Patriots fans, and then they go way back in football where they're Steeler fans or Cowboy fans and all that type of stuff because that's the old school football. But hopefully we'll get some more Giant votes for you, man. Listen, I am a fair person. I'm not the type of person that's going to talk trash unless you're a division rival.
Yeah, I get
Because then
that.
you come up here, they come up here, and they be speaking the worst nonsense I've ever heard in my life, and then I get animated and worked up. So
Yeah.
people are probably like, "Breezy, you're not yelling. There's nothing to yell about." I want to know what the hell the Giants gonna do. I watched what they did against Dallas. They couldn't do anything because of the stupid ass turnovers in the beginning of the game. That kind of like sucked the life out of you guys, and you being down by so much, you're not going to continue to run the ball, right? So
Yep.
that was week one. Week two, y'all made the miraculous comeback. On the road, like that was ridiculous. So what will
Yep.
the Giants do here? Daniel Jones, leading rusher, leading receiver.
Leading receiver. I'm gonna say it's a Darren Waller game. I'm gonna
I
say
knew
that
you was gonna do. I knew you was gonna say that. I
I
knew
think
it.
I think you got to rely on him. I think he brings the most between the fact that he can work underneath and the fact that he is also a guy who can get explosive plays for you. So I think we got to go back to kind of the bread and butter of what we were hoping the connection would be going this season, and we gotta get the ball to Darren Waller.
All right, man. Sal says Daniel Jones is running back two on our team, or is he running back one? Is he running back
And
two when Barkley is there, and then running back one when Barkley's not there?
yeah, I think that's what it is. I think he's running back one when Barkley's not here and running back two other. And Sal, shout out Sal. That's my co-host on He's a Giant. So what's up, Sal?
What's going on, Sal, man? Thanks for tuning in, bro. We truly appreciate you over here. Listen, what's going on, Dion? Shout out to all the Breezy Bunch crew members out there. I know I didn't give you guys a shout out earlier in the show. I just wanted to get down to the nitty gritty. I don't want to take too much of my man's time. We all got pregame rituals we got to get to. 7 p.m. is when Amazon's kicking off their pregame rituals. So we're going to be closing this out. Let's do score predictions, man, and let's get on up out of here. So I want you to be like, I want, if you feel the Giants are gonna win, pick the damn Giants. Don't sugarcoat it for me. I want the realness.
If you want the realness, then I'm not gonna pick the Giants.
Are you serious? You gotta pick your team.
Then I'll pick my team. Let's say I'm gonna go ahead and say the only way they're gonna win this game is we're gonna have to not it can't be a high scoring game, but we have to do enough to win on you guys. I'm gonna say 24-21. I'm gonna say Graham Gano field goal to win.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Didn't even mention the kickers, the battle of the kickers. This could be a kicking game now that I think about it. This could come down to Jake Moody having to kick a 60-yarder field goal for the win. How crazy would that be in their first home game? Um, That's crazy. So I'm my thing is I'm hoping the game goes according to plan, the way I think that it would go. And I'm going 34-13. I think Daniel Jones gets your touchdowns. You get 2 field goals with Gano. I think the 49ers continue to find a way to score 30 plus points,
Yeah.
like they normally do. Because Brock Purdy, that's his thing. They get to 30 and they kind of figure out a way to win. Um, I don't know if that's a blowout, but I did say contextually wise, that I think the game is going to be close in the beginning. I want to be wrong,
Mhm.
but it's going to be close in the beginning. There might come a period where the Giants even take the lead because Daniel Jones done did some crazy stuff. And next thing you know, the 49ers got to figure out a way to counter it. So it's going to be interesting to watch. I think the game is going to be good, but I think we get 34 points. Is that feasible to get on a Thursday night?
Look, the biggest thing's gonna be about this defense. If this defense plays the way it did last week, we're gonna let you guys run all over us. We need to get that straight. The one thing I'll say with that is the Arizona Cardinals ran a ton of counters on us, and that was really what was killing us. And eventually, we started to stop it, but we were full on selling out to stop the counter. And if we full on sell out to stop the counter versus you guys, it's going to be a problem. So we need to find a way to stop the counter without selling out our entire defense. So I think
Interesting.
if you guys are running all over us, you easily could get 30, I think.
You know
But
what's funny? We're not a counter. We're not a counter team.
yeah,
We're a outside zone,
yep,
halfback toss. We're so fucking old school. It's not even funny. Halfback toss. I hate that fucking play. Stretch. We'll run inside, but then try to get to the outside. Like that's our. It's kind of like a powers. I'm gonna call it a power zone. That's kind of like what we run. We kind of got
yeah.
some power from the inside, but we're looking to really get to the outside. It's kind of where things happen. Um, it's gonna be an interesting game, but I'm excited, man. I hope you're excited, and I truly
I'm
appreciate
excited.
appreciate you for jumping on. And if you ever need me to come on a podcast and just talk football, like it don't have to be. I just love freaking football. I literally follow the sport, all 32 teams. I really love it. I can't wait to see what you guys have in store for the season. Good luck to you this season, man. And thank you so much for joining the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. And I'll have you on when Giants play the 49ers in the playoffs.
Hey, there we go. Special episode. Listen, Monty. Oh, where in Connecticut are you from? Are,
Shelton, the home
oh,
of Dan
bro,
Orlovsky.
you're 2 minutes.
Yeah, I used to live in New Haven last year. I just
Bro,
moved from New
that's
Haven.
right
Yeah,
here.
yeah. I lived there last year. I lived over in Westville.
That's where I was. I was raised in Westville.
There
I'm
you go.
done. Listen, Monty, I appreciate you for jumping on, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, Breezie. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Peace. Good luck.
Peace.
All right, guys, we got us a game. It's the Giants. It's the Niners. My energy is on level 1,000. I need some food. We got some super chat contributions I definitely want to get to. For life, Niner. Bro, did you hear Diggs is out? Yes. Yes, Trayvon Diggs. They're fearing that he tore his ACL. I'm not sure if it's a full report to where he tore the ACL, but that's what they're fearing as of right now. He did leave practice on crutches. It's a very sad, sad, sad day. I just can't stand injuries. You guys know I do understand that football is going to be an injury sport. Like it's 100% injury. It's gonna happen at some point, and it just sucks that it happens. But we'll definitely be praying for him and a speedy recovery. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to these injuries and to Diggs, man. So speedy recovery to him. Yeah, but he's gonna be out for the season. So we'll be playing Dallas without Diggs. Jack's 43-9. God, you just should have said 49-3. Flip it around. 49ers get 49 points. They get 3 points. There's a possibility that the Giants won't be able to do what their game plan is. And that to me is my concern, right? So if the Giants have to go off script, to me, them going off script is going to come down to the athleticism of Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones will run he will run. I'm 100% sure Daniel Jones is going to run the ball. Check out my keys to victory. You got some time. We're ending the show a little bit early. I'm giving you the 5 points that I feel like the 49ers have to do. Number one, they got to find a way to generate that pressure. They do that, we will be good to go. Shout out to everybody out there in the chat. The 49ers inactives are here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and post them in the chat. All right, so we got some news going on. 49ers inactives are as follows. Let's talk about this real quick before I jump off. All right, Brandon Ayuk, Ambry Thomas, Nick Zakel, Brandon Allen, third QB, Kalia Davis, linebacker Jalen Graham, running back TDP is inactive for the third straight week. TDP, listen, I'm expecting Christian McCaffrey to have 200 rushing yards like in the first half. That's what I'm expecting. The Giants can't stop the run. And everybody knows that the Giants can't stop the run. Ambry Thomas is out, guys. He's inactive. You know what I'm saying? Anthony wants to know, how did I become a Niner fan? Oh, that's a great question. So, just growing up in the 80s on TV, where's the 49ers? And didn't know much about them, but I just knew that I liked the way they moved the ball. I'll leave it at that. And I just became a 49er fan like in the mid 80s to the late 80s, and the 90s is when I really started like getting in on the 49ers, started like really doing collecting cards and all that type of stuff, and really loving the team. And when we would lose, I would cry if I had to go to school, because I knew they were going to talk to me about it. I didn't like us losing. I just felt like the Niners in the 80s and the 90s, they were like almost damn near invincible. You know what I'm saying? Early 90s. But yeah, that's how I became a fan. It was just the 80s. My mom's a Cowboys fan, and I didn't want to be a Cowboys fan. I wanted to be a 49er fan. Love the colors, red and gold, baby, till I'm dead and cold. All right. Now, we don't know who's going to be starting. See, he says I'm too young. I'm not too young. I remember the late 80s more than the mid 80s. Like I remember like 88, 89, 87, 88, 89. 90, 91, 92, 93, 94. Like that's my reign. All right. So yes, Anthony Brown did get released. All right. They also signed. They also called up to the 53-man roster Chris Conley, the wide receiver, and the cornerback, if I'm not mistaken. And that kind of alluded to us that Ambry Thomas was going to be out, right? So the cornerback that they called up was Shamar John Charles. That was one of the cornerbacks that they picked up, in the offseason recently. Like, he was on one of the more recent signings too, by the way. So yeah, man, it's gonna be crazy. Now I'm expecting Christian McCaffrey to go Super Saiyan 5. Okay. I'm thinking Christian McCaffrey for the third straight week against this rush defense. They are 26th, y'all. They're 26th. There's no reason to even throw the ball. I know we will. There's no reason to even throw the ball. The Giants can't stop the run. Period. They can't stop the run. They gave up 100 and something yards to James Conner. Not a slot. Not. If Christian McCaffrey's the best running back in the league, and the Niners rushing, their offensive line is pretty damn good when it comes to the run. The only thing we're going to be missing from our rush attack, the only person we're going to be missing is Brandon Ayuk. But you got Jawan Jennings. You got the rookie Ronnie Bell. I see Case 49 says Bell's about to eat. I think Chris Conley and Bell going to be splitting them snaps, man. It's going to be a fun day. The story that I got about Anthony Brown was, they brought him in, they wanted to get him in here. They probably worked him out, and they didn't think he was probably fully recovered from that ACL injury. So, they kind of went with what they had. They promoted Trey Swilling to the active roster as well. I'm curious to see which one of those guys will be on the depth at the cornerback position, opposed to just playing on special teams. So one guy will probably be on special teams, and then one guy will be actually that actual depth at the cornerback position. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we'll see much of Jordan Mason unless we were up by a lot. I would love to see Jordan Mason, but I think we get Elijah Mitchell snaps. Kyle Shanahan said it, that he needed to figure it out, and I think we're going to get some Mitchell snaps. I'm hoping, ladies and gentlemen, that we get. Remember that Arizona game last year? Were we in Mexico? I think we were in Mexico. Remember that Arizona game where McCaffrey went bananas and then Elijah Mitchell came in the second half and went like bananas and apples? Like I missed that. Like that's crazy. I don't know if Kyle is saving that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like it's going to be crazy at the end of the day. So, look, 34-13 is my score prediction. I'm not going to change that. There's your inactives right there. I hope you guys get some food, get your beverage. I know, okay, so got a couple of things going on. Mike is going to be streaming on the Patreon tonight, and then Mose is also going to be streaming in a private room. I'm probably going to I'm going to try to join both of them at some point tonight. Me, I'm in my private room getting ready for the game. I got to get my food together. I hope you guys are going to have a great time tonight. If you're at the game, enjoy the game. Do I think the 49ers win by more than 11? I definitely do. If I'm predicting 34-13, bro, like I really think the Niners at home make a mother statement. I really do. I think they make a statement tonight. If you pick the Giants to, how did the Giants had 2%. How did it end up being 1%? Just curious. I thought there would be more Giant fans watching the show. I thought it was a fair question, but yeah, the Niners kind of took over. Shout out to you guys, though. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Peachy for putting this together. Appreciate you behind the scenes and all the work that you do. Shout out to all the contributors to the show. Shout out to just the damn community being in the building. I'm dropping the bomb on you because you guys freaking rock. All right? Love y'all, man. See you on the after show. Over the top, baby. We going over the top tonight. Let's have some fun. Love y'all. Peace. Oh, I saw the Kinlaw comment too. So many things that the 49ers can use. So many. So many.
I be sipping gold bar, whiskey on the rocks, and a 24 karat gold on a watch. My 7-1 Chevy be tipping non-stop, sounding like Trent Williams on the block. So you know we can't stop, we be banging through your speakers. Wayne Breezie on the field or in the bleachers. You can tune into my show and I'm a teacher. Wayne Breezie, the 4-9 preacher.